Hi, thank you for watching Issues in Sociology. I'm Dr. Sherry. Today's topic is ethics in social science research. Now, if you're one of my students at SNHU, you know that in Module 2, our assignment is to look at these proposals. You're to review these proposals, the 3 proposals before you, and determine if you're going to allow these proposals to go forward or if you are going to give them some comments and some recommendations for change based upon certain ethical issues that you see in their proposal. So the first thing we want to talk about is harm. There should be no harm to participants in social science research. Now, we learned this in Module 2 based upon Poor Baby Albert, the Milgram experiment, and the Stanford prison experiments. I will also do some videos on those 3 experiments, just kind of going into them a little bit more and discussing those experiments and their importance in social science research and how it shaped what can and cannot be done within the context of social science research and what happens to participants. So any participant, they should not come to any sort of harm whatsoever, mental, physical, emotional, in any way. Second, breach of privacy or confidentiality. The privacy or confidentiality of your participants should not be breached in any way. And this kind of goes into the third one, which is informed consent. When you are dealing with human subjects, your participants should be informed, and you should have informed consent of the study, of their participation in your study. They should be informed of all of the things that have to do with the study, what kinds of questions they will be asked, just everything having to do with them. And this is another way of protecting your participants so that they are informed when they are agreeing to be a part of your study. Next is the risk-benefit analysis. And this is just saying, is there more risk involved? Is there more potential risk to the participants than there is benefit of what we will learn from this study? So you're just kind of weighing this. Basically, is it worth it? For example, in one of the proposals that we're presented with, it has to do with electroshock therapy. And beside that being inhumane, because it does cause harm to participants, there's also the issue of risk-benefit analysis. It doesn't pass that analysis because there's risk of harm, and that does not outweigh the benefit of what we may find or the information we can garner from that study. All right, so next is full disclosure. Again, that goes with informed consent. You must give participants full disclosure of your proposal, of your study, what you're trying to learn, etc. Also, no personally identifiable information should be released or published. Okay? Your participants, again, should be protected, as should their privacy. Also, the Institutional Review Board. All universities have an IRB, and you just need to, put your proposal forth by your IRB, and they will give you some good pointers as to what you need to change in your study to make sure that you are adhering to all ethical concerns and that your study is a good and valid one. When you're studying health or anything related to health or food intake, weight, exercise, etc., you always want to take into consideration genetic predisposition, because people do have certain genetic predispositions that may belie their weight, etc., and any other disease they may have, such as diabetes. You may associate that only with someone that is a certain weight or a certain percentage overweight, when that's just not true. Some people have strictly a genetic predisposition to it and can be extremely healthy, extremely in shape, and still have this. So that's just something you want to take into consideration. On our third proposal that we're presented with, there is the issue there where they're not really taking into consideration genetic predisposition, and then also the fact that that study, they're wanting to study the poor. And you always want to make sure that you are not targeting a marginalized group. This is a group that has limited access and limited means. So a better study in that case would be to look at food groups that are in this particular area that they're wanting to study, as opposed to the actual people. You can still garner excellent information, as we have, as studies have been done within the social sciences, and that's how we have learned about food deserts that are in America. Food deserts are basically places within zip codes that there aren't any healthy foods. There's not a lot of healthy foods. And if people within that zip code are living to survive, they're, trying to put some food on the table, sometimes that dollar menu might be the absolute best choice that there is, that fits within the budget and gets everybody fed, as opposed to some of the healthier foods that can be more costly, and or the people in a certain area may not have easy access to those foods. So we want to make sure that you're not targeting anyone, that you're not holding any type of bias against someone based on socioeconomic class. Okay, that's a really important one. So these are some of the considerations. It's not everything. This is not a completely comprehensive, everything under the sun list, but knowing some of these will be very good, and you will have a good foundation, a good starter foundation in ethics and social science research. If you have any questions, by all means, leave comments below. If you're not one of my students and you're watching this, then hey, I hope it helps you with your homework, or I hope it was just interesting to you. These are good things for really anyone to know, because if you're reading studies on the internet, and they're from these different organizations or associations, now you've got some information by which you can question the validity of this study. Because if people are being harmed in it, or if they're targeting a marginalized group, then you know that, hey, there's something wrong with this. This study isn't valid. And you can say that with confidence and know what you're talking about. So thank you again for watching Issues in Sociology. I'm Dr. Sherry. But before you go, be sure to like and subscribe. I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and I'd love to give you some more good information, and I'd love to receive great information from you too. So thank you again, and before we go, ring that little bell down below so that you will be sure to get all of my videos the moment I upload them. Thank you again for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.